And it's thinking. We are live. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Wanted to tell you welcome and wanted to welcome my friend, Beth Elkassih, who is the creator of Made You Smile Back. And we're going to be talking about an important topic right now, which is finding your happy during COVID. If you are on the live, give us a hashtag live. If you are on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. Give us lots of love. We'll take all of it because we can. So welcome. Made You Smile Back.
Let me cheer you.
Cheers. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. You are correct. Well, it's not just a pandemic that we're going through. It's a pandemic on the damage it's done to our mental health. In fact, I was reading today that the CDC, they were already pretty much acknowledging the fact that prior to 2019, that the prevalence of depression was on the rise, okay? But now with the COVID environment, everyone is experiencing not only COVID itself, the anxiety from it and fear of it, but how many of us have experienced COVID isolation, COVID fatigue, and COVID depression, and COVID anxiety. These are real things. And if you're already in a down state, a depressed state, there's another study that was done that since COVID, the suicidal rate has gone up 30%. And I find that very tragic,
Yeah. To me, it's huge. Everybody I know who works in mental health, and I know quite a few people who work in mental health, are reporting, massive numbers of people who are suffering from depression. And, we're not just dealing with COVID right now. We have a lot of people that are very upset about the election.
Yes.
We're in the middle of winter. So, we have seasonal affective disorder. And, it's dark and dreary and snowy in large portions of the United States and the Northern Hemisphere. And we're stuck inside.
Yes, we are.
Like insult to injury to make it worse.
And if you're an extrovert, to be inside is a challenge for us, So we have got to get some coping skills. And one of the things that I do as a happiness life coach is I try to help men and women all over the world come to grips with where they are situationally, and then to find coping strategies to elevate yourself, to get from that level of anxiety or depression or whatever it may be up to a higher level. There's several things that one can do to do that. So we all need to get our happy back, right? We need to all find ourselves again and achieve a level that we had before and even higher, and do that while every day we face this life struggle, because it's not going away. That's the unfortunate thing. So
it's not going to instantaneously be resolved. Nobody is promising instantaneous solutions. And I want to stop and say hi to Patty and Meg, because they were waving on my personal wall. So, hey guys, so happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you, Patty and Meg.
It's interesting to me because, you're a happiness coach. Is that the correct title for what you do?
I call myself a happess life coach. Okay, I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to be. But I feel like first let me tell you, I have walked the walk. I have been in the depths of clinical depression. I've been in the depths of anxiety. And there was a time of acute postpartum depression. And I'll just put it right out there, guys. I even had 3 days of psychosis. So I know what it feels like to not feel yourself.
And hey, Marilyn.
It took some time to climb out of that rabbit hole, but I did. And as a result, I always told myself, one day I am going to be in a position to help others how to get happy again. So that's why I pursued doing my website, Made You Smile Back, and I'm writing the book, I Just Want to Be Happy Again, and also to provide coaching in the aspect of happiness live sessions. So I present a no judgment zone of seeing where you are and how we can get you to a higher level of happiness and even beyond.
Yep. I did a session with you,
Yes.
and it was really interesting to see, here's where my overall happiness level is. And, here's the things I could work on to make that better. And I consider myself a pretty happy person overall.
Yeah, I remember the survey we took together, and you got a high score, I have to tell you.
Oh, thanks. I tried to knock that sucker out of the park, but seriously, I think that it is important to be aware of your mental health and your happiness, and really making conscious decisions to improve that, and then learning, working with somebody who can coach you through and teach you the skills and give you the toolbox to learn some of these skills.
Because your level of happiness affects everything in your life.
Absolutely.
Everything. And if you're an entrepreneur businesswoman, like here in this forum, it affects our self-confidence levels. It affects our self-esteem. It impacts our goals, even our focus and our attention is distracted when we are dealing with these other things, right? Our other emotions. Absolutely. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to me, it's interesting because, reading your articles, reading your books, and then my husband gave me a book for my birthday on happiness, which I thought was interesting because it was such a different viewpoint from him that I had never seen before. But our family has been through,
Yes.
a lot. And, one of the big takeaways for us has been, I can't control all of my circumstances.
Right.
I can't control what somebody else does. I can't control how they act. I can't control how they feel. But the thing that I can control is myself and my own reactions to my environment. And by extension, I started figuring out, and it took me a while. I mean, this was not like a short lesson, was that I got to choose whether I was going to be happy or miserable.
Yes, you do. Because happiness is definitely a choice, and you figured that out. Mm-hmm. And you said reaction, but I think the more proper word that you learned was how to not react, but how to respond. When
yes.
you respond, you're in a more positive state of mind and can effectively get results with what you're trying to accomplish. And you did with your daughter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm grateful, and it's definitely been the, proverbial baptism by fire. And part of why I'm such a huge mental health advocate is because I've seen that, not everybody's cases are like ours. But I've also seen the profound impact on everybody around you.
Isn't it amazing when people find out that either yourself or a loved one in your family, how they I'm going to say react when they find out, and then you find out the true colors of your family and friends.
Oh yeah, sure.
For sure. But we all need compassion, and we have to first give it to ourselves, but we do look for it from others, and we do need to stay connected. But that's part of my mission too, which I'm sure it is as yours as a mental health advocate. We're trying to do our part in removing this stigma of mental illness so people will talk about it. Let's put it out in the forefront and let's do some positive things about helping one another, because I don't care what anybody says. We all go through depression and anxiety from one point to another in our lives. And the sooner we acknowledge that, I think the better off we'll be, even in humanity.
Absolutely. And Marilyn says COVID anxiety equals coviety. Yeah.
I love it.
It's a special kind of, it's a special kind of crazy. And Meg says, the beginning of COVID was very hard on me because I didn't know how to be away from people. I need people around me to be happy. Beth, you had a big part in helping me figure out that I can function in this world we are in now.
Yes, I tell everybody, okay, so you're watching me, right? So we have to stay connected. And if we find ourselves isolated, which many of us are in our homes, there's a lot of single mothers out there. There's a lot of baby boomers that are just, meeting their spouse, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden we're down in lockdown and we're not allowed to go out. And if we do, we have to wear our masks. And God forbid we have normal conversations with each other, right, in the grocery store or have you. But I think you're right, Meg. We need that social connection because that's what makes up us being human, right?
Yeah, there's a real connection and real correlation between, and it's been shown in a number of aging studies, between our friendships and our relationships with other humans and longevity.
And I just think the great thing about the internet is that in social media and Zoom and StreamYard and Facebook Lives and Messenger and WhatsApp, that has allowed us to continue to keep our connection. Can you imagine, Meg, if we had had COVID even 10 years ago? It'd be a different ball game, right? And keeping in touch with one another.
Oh, absolutely. But, what's cool is that, a lot of people I think are Zoomed to death.
Yeah, I would say that they are. I am.
I know that I feel like I'm Zoomed to death sometimes, but I also cherish that time to connect, and yes, the energy is a little different when you're connecting with somebody on Zoom, but, blow it up, as a full window and, you can almost make believe that they're in the same room with you.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of families learned how to Zoom real quickly. I have a daughter, as you know, over in Milan, Italy, who I have not seen for over a year due to COVID travel restrictions. And I cherish those full-blown screen Zoom sessions with her to try to make it as real as possible. But I think belonging to positive-minded Facebook groups like we are right now really does help. And who doesn't like, I don't know about you, but I love Messenger, but who doesn't like that familiar ding? When it comes through, it's like someone cares about you. Someone wants to engage in a conversation with you. That is uplifting, I think.
Yeah. Although I got to say with mine, my social media is a little bit crazy at times. And part of my personal story, some of y'all may know or may not know, is my husband and I go out and we walk every night.
That's great.
Or almost every night. And my husband is 6'4", so he's about 8 or 9 inches taller than I am. And it's really funny because when he walks at a normal rate of speed, he's like 40 feet ahead of me. So in the almost 29 years we've been married, having him learn how to slow down has been really, really challenging because his legs come up to my armpits almost. So the funny thing is that I discovered that if I handed him my phone with my Pokemon Go on it, and he had 2 phones with Pokemon Go on it, he would walk at a normal rate of speed for my T-Rex legs, and I could keep up with him or stay slightly ahead of him. So he'll sit there while we're, at a park. We go out and we walk a couple of miles, and he will see all of these notifications, the messenger notifications popping up incessantly on my phone. He's like, good Lord, woman, it just doesn't stop. And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you run a business on your phone.
Yeah, that's great. So any kind of things like that to help you get through this is always beneficial to you as well.
Yeah. And I found, honestly, it's the silliest thing, right? But finding that outlet and that common ground and ways to connect, with my children, with my husband, has been huge. And then, of course, cinnamon rolls.
Well, okay, I forgot. We talked about COVID fatigue and COVID anxiety and all that. Who hasn't got the COVID 20? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah, because we're stuck at home.
Sitting behind our computers, and we're not, when we should be moving a little bit more, but we found ourselves not to be, at least for myself. I did.
Yeah, and, there's that, COVID snacking.
Oh, yeah.
Who isn't COVID snacking? I think most people did a lot of COVID snacking at the beginning.
Oh, not only that, they got out their cookbooks, and we started all, cooking these major casseroles and baked goods and cinnamon rolls. So I think that is a side benefit is people have found different activities maybe that they didn't have the time before. Some people have taken up hobbies, which is part of getting through, is really being distracted with a hobby. I love to play the piano, and or sing in the shower or whatever. I know some people took up crocheting again. And I think our friend Wendy, she's always been in quilts, but now she's really into it, and she's making it a side business, a side hustle. So there are silver linings in this pandemic time. We've taken a closer look at ourselves internally. I think a lot of us have. Anyway.
Absolutely. And Marilyn's is, oh my gosh, they're so good. Yeah, Marilyn's also had the cinnamon rolls. She lives local to me. And she hasn't gained any weight. She lost 10 pounds, trying hard. Yeah. I've lost weight too, but I'm also, as you guys know, bariatric surgery, patient. So
I'm on the keto, and what day is it? 21? I've been on 21 days without a single cheat day. I have been in ketosis. So I've lost
congratulations.
Half of that 25, but still, I still love to eat.
It goes on much easier than it comes off. But, I've been finding, new hobbies. But I have to say, Facebook is a small addiction for me. I know that's a surprise.
But you're really good at it.
I spend a lot of time with it. But thank you. And thank you. I enjoy it. I swore when COVID started that I was going to finally have time to finish some of my
reading major novels.
Well, I do some reading all the time anyway, but I was going to have time to finish some of my needlepoint stuff and organize the house and whatnot. And I will say I have not gotten as far as I wanted as far as organizing the house, but it is actually moving. I've taken probably 20 loads of stuff down to the dump and down to our thrift store. So that was one of my resolutions, was to not just lose weight, but to organize and sort the house a bit, because we're almost empty nesters. So
yeah,
we have, our oldest will be moved out permanently in a couple of weeks. And then 2 will be in college and 1 in boarding school. So we will not have any kids permanently at home anymore after August of this year.
That's good.
And Marilyn says, stay hydrated. Absolutely. Staying hydrated is important. We were actually just talking about that before we got on, about, what do we put in our mugs? Because I put milk in my mug. I'm drinking Fairlife milk because of my protein requirements.
Yeah. So you have to have milk as part of your routine, your diet regime?
I have to consume almost 200 grams of protein a day because I'm weight training. And because of my surgery, I don't absorb all the protein I eat. So yeah, I consume a lot of protein. So some of it comes in as milk.
I see. And Marilyn, what I do is I drink ice water all throughout the day.
Mm.
And I was telling Haley earlier, I used to be a Diet Coke fiend. I used to drink 6 to 8 20-ounce bottles of Diet Coke. I kid you not. And it made me irritable. And I think it was destroying some of my brain cells. And I was having short-term memory problems.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I wanted to think it was my thyroid or aging. But no, it had to do with the chemicals in that soda.
I've actually found a new poison for me, which is the dragon fruit refresher.
Oh, I've had that. That's delicious.
It's delicious. It has a little bit of caffeine in it. But I found that it actually helps me with both hydration and staying awake and all that fun stuff.
Right. I think it's also.
But it has sugar too, so it's not probably on your menu at the moment.
No sugar. Not well. I can have Splenda, which is a derivative of real sugar.
Yeah, but it's got like more calories and sweet, glucose and whatnot that you want, carbs.
So in addition to staying connected, we have to try to not allow ourselves to get overwhelmed with the situation. So it's really good to set routines during our day. Even though we're indoors, we still need a routine. And like, I'm going to throw this out there. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. How many of you don't even get out of your pajamas for X amount of hours, if at all, during the day? And I am telling you, you will feel better if you set a routine and take self-care of yourself, which includes your appearance and what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
It makes a big difference. I've seen it with my kids. I've seen it with my clients. I get up and one of them just wandered by and gave me a look as he goes swinging up the stairs. But I've gotten up and gotten dressed pretty much every single day during COVID. And I had a couple of days where I didn't. And it's amazing how schlumpadinka, that really kind of like feeling you feel when you're not getting up and getting fully dressed. And for me, fully dressed is I'm wearing a sweater right now, or a blouse and pants and a pair of shoes. And Marilyn says, I get up, I get dressed and do hair and makeup each day. It makes me feel better. Absolutely.
Good for you, Marilyn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. And Meg Campbell says, I don't find new hobbies. I find new branches of my business.
Me too, Meg. I feel your pain, but it's a good pain. I was telling Haley, I know I have a lot on my plate, but I just love what I'm doing now.
Yeah, totally.
Computer.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I love doing what I do. So I can, my hobby is my business. My business is my hobby. I just didn't get very much needlepoint done.
Well, speaking of attire, it's one thing if you have like set work days like we used to have. Us used to be 8 to 5ers. It's okay to be in your sweats from time to time. You do want to be comfortable, but for when you're really seriously focusing in on your business, at least for me, I feel better wearing what I would wear, in an office environment.
Yeah, I dress in business casual pretty much every single day. I don't wear any different clothing now than I did before COVID. My clothing is different because I've lost weight, but not.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. How many of us still have suits in our closet? I don't. I don't think I own one suit. I think I own 2 dresses.
Yeah, I have a couple of dresses.
Now, is important.
I will confess, I've had to completely replace my entire wardrobe 3.5 times and counting. So, my wardrobe choices are somewhat limited. I have a couple of bottoms and a handful of tops, and that's about where I'm at. And I'm actually kind of enjoying the simplicity of having kind of a capsule wardrobe. Like every bottom and every top goes together. Mm-hmm. When you wear jeans, everything kind of naturally tends to go together. But yeah, keeping it really simple has been a blessing, but I still feel like I'm dressed when I get up every day.
Yes, I think that's important. It makes you feel better. And also we need, even though we're indoors, and I know it is winter, but we need to really make the intentional effort of going outside,
Mm-hmm.
see the sun, see the clouds, see the snow, trees, or whatever. That's really important for our well-being as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah, we've discovered all the walking trails around here. And during winter, we go out at night to go hit the walking trails or downtown Cary and go look at the pond, which got filled tonight with soap bubbles.
Oh, wow,
Um,
how fun.
it looks kind of cool. It's kind of magical with all the LED lights coming through the soap bubbles.
I would love to see it.
I posted a video. It's on my wall, but it's just finding the things. And then the other thing we've done, and I don't know how important this is to you guys, but one of the traditions my family has always had is that we eat together dinner as a family whenever it's possible. And I've had 3 of my kids home for all of until August. I had my 3 younger ones at home. And then 2 of them went away, one to college and one to boarding school. But we do dinner pretty much every night as a family. And of course, right now, because kids don't have activities like they did, sports are a non-issue and activities are a non-issue unless they're by Zoom. It's just become much more possible for us to eat dinner together as a family. And the cool thing is that we've gotten to try a lot of new things, and we've gotten to try new meals and do different stuff. And oh my gosh, I really love HelloFresh. I've been having a lot of fun. I'm probably a walking advertisement for them, but that trying out new food and new meals and doing different things has been cool.
That New Fresh is they package it a total meal with all the ingredients and all the instructions, and you just follow it like clockwork, and boom, it's ready for you.
Yep. But there's a bunch of them. There's like Marley Spoon and HelloFresh and Blue Apron. There's probably a dozen. And then there's some that have like a fully done meal that you pop in the oven or whatever. I like the ones where we're doing a bit more cooking. The other thing I've discovered is that my best friend's family kind of likes similar food to what we like. So because I've had bariatric surgery, I have a teeny tiny little stomach. So, that kind of makes 1.5 to 2.5 of us eating a meal, which makes it hard to make a lot of different things. Like if we're making chicken and dumplings or something, it just by its nature makes a lot of food. So my best friend's kids have been eating well. So once or twice a week, we drop food off with them. So we're not eating leftovers 23 times.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Lasagna and macaroni and cheese and chicken and dumplings and all the things. All the things. But yeah. And in case you guys were wondering, yes, I'm really a foodie. A lot of people were like, oh, I could never, have bariatric surgery because I love food too much. And I'm like, oh, I eat all the food. I'm all about food in the dinner.
I think it's just your new perspective and approach. I think you appreciate food more than ever now. I bet you taste it even more so now than you did before.
Oh, absolutely, because you have to slow down and chew slowly. Or you're going to hurt yourself. So absolutely, you are right. Yeah, but that having dinner together as a family has been really cool. And my 17-year-old has become a really amazing cook. And he's also, secret, I'll let the cat out of the bag, he's actually been the one who's made all of the cinnamon rolls for the last few months.
Oh, wow. So he knows the formula by heart.
He doesn't
just measure, does he? He just pours it.
He does measure. He has a scale because we bake with the scale because it's more accurate than using cups.
Okay.
But he has a very precise way that he makes the dough. Like he puts the dough in the mixer and everything is done on the scale, et cetera, et cetera. And then he has a very precise formula that he follows for this is exactly how he rolls out the cinnamon rolls. And because he's 6'2" and he's got these really crazy long arms, it's David. He can roll out the cinnamon rolls and they cover our entire kitchen island in one go. And it's like 24 by 36. So there's this like super thin, it's like super like precise. And then, the rolling up, so they're like exactly the same size and thickness, like all the way across. Like when I'm making cinnamon rolls, there's not quite the same exact consistency, but his are very precise and very consistent. The engineer, and then he's got this whole process that he goes through to rise the cinnamon rolls. So the first, few thousand was me with his assistants, and then now he just does them and he bakes them for half the kids at his school and
wow.
teachers. So yes, we have gone through hundreds of pounds of flour.
Now the batch that I got via express mail, was that yours? Okay. Well, despite maybe the misproportion of the size, it still tasted incredible.
Thank you.
I'm saying, oh my God.
I love it. Sourdough is a lot of fun. But yes, no, it's my oldest son. He's quite the baker. He's quite the cook. And that's been one of the things that we've discovered together as a family, during COVID. But it's that finding those little moments and those little gifts, and finding ways to be happy together.
That's true. And how many of us have gotten to know our neighbors better, especially people who live in the urban areas? I now know everybody in my subdivision. And
that's cool.
COVID, I only probably knew 4. Now I know 15.
Oh, that's cool.
Because we all look out for one another,
Yeah, we're still a little bit, we're in a subdivision, but we're spread out a little bit more. But we have definitely had more conversations and more connections and whatnot. My husband more than me. But yeah, it's been kind of cool to reach out and connect with people in my community. And I have to say that cinnamon rolls are a really great way to, and giving away cinnamon rolls has been a great way to meet people.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
And then there's the poor husbands who have been told to go to this crazy lady's house and pick up cinnamon rolls. And they're like ringing the doorbell and they're like, I'm not really sure why I'm here. It's 9 o'clock at night, but my wife said I was supposed to come to this address, ring the doorbell, and you would hand me cinnamon rolls. And I'm like, exactly. And I'm like, and so we've had so many confused husbands on the front doorstep.
I'm trying to think. I did a Made You Smile Back blog based upon something Meg Campbell does all the time, and it escapes me what that term is. It's like you do a self-care package for someone, and you take it to the door, and you ring the doorbell.
Oh, ding dong ditching.
Ding dong ditching. That is my one of the new things I've learned in COVID.
I've been ding dong ditching people too. Marilyn says, where are you located?
I am in Arlington, Texas, which is right in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. And we are the ones who have the Dallas Cowboys play in our stadium, just so you know. Not Dallas, Arlington.
Yep. Meg is saying ding dong ditch. Yep. I love me a good ding dong ditch. That's been one of my other, forms of happy. You go down to the liquor store and you buy the multi-pack of booze, the little bitty bottles. And you get little gift bags and you get some chocolate and some booze, maybe some wine, maybe some other little goodies. And you put them in bags and you go and you drop them off on all of your friends' doorsteps. And my youngest son, who is Ivan, loves playing a good game of ding dong ditch. So we've been dropping off bread and cinnamon rolls and bags of adult beverages and ding dong and run and go.
Isn't that great? But the thing of it is now, who has those little iPhone security cameras on their doorbell? They know who's doing it sometimes. But that's okay. It's nice when they figure it out and they give you a call and say, thank you so much. It warms your heart when you know that you've put a smile on somebody else's face. Right.
Yeah. And Marilyn says, my hubby graduated from UTA with his Teresa Reese Masters. He was married in Fort Worth in 1998. There you go. Okay. They lived in Arlington. Yeah, my family is actually from that area. So my aunt lives in Fort Worth. My dad grew up down the street from TCU.
Okay.
just like literally a couple of blocks. My aunt's home now is dwarfed by the new TCU stadium. But yeah, it's very cool. I remember flying to the US when I was a kid and going to the Fort Worth Zoo.
Oh my gosh. And you came from Portugal?
It depended at a time. Venezuela, Brazil, Germany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we would come to the US once or twice a year. So it was cool. It was fun to visit.
Yeah.
And then my grandparents would load me up with candy and send me back to wherever I came from.
When did you come to the United States permanently?
6th grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've been Americanized, really?
I'm pretty thoroughly Americanized-ish. It's interesting that there are some definite cultural differences.
I'm sure there is.
It's kind of funny. Yes, mostly. But yeah, it was fun. My parents, like I said, my grandparents would load me up with candy and send me back. In kindergarten through 6th grade. It was a lot of fun.
That's great. Now, I know you have something that you enjoy doing at the end of all these interviews. You have your magic cards, don't you?
Oh, I do. Do you want me to do one?
Yes. And I want to know, how did you get engaged into that? Just curious.
I'm a Reiki healer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And I do this for fun. But I do it as a blessing too.
Well, you do very well at it, especially when you're reading it.
Thank you. Yeah. So these are my cards. These are the cards. I'm pretty sure Patty's going to want the top one. And I think that Meg is going to want the 7th one. So let me get them stirred up real good. They're not feeling properly stirred up yet.
I like the top and the 7 too, but I'm going to be different and ask for 3.
Oh, Marilyn says 7th, card 7 too. Let me get the intention. Let the cards shuffle themselves into position here. Okay. So I know Patty's going to want the top. Yep, she says top, sure enough. And Meg says 7th, and you've got 3rd. Okay, so we got this. So here's the top one. It's Gelato Goddess. So here's the card. Have you given another the power to influence your sense of self-worth or your direction in life? Choose with care whom you allow to get close to you and to guide you. It's obvious and yet easy to forget that if we accept guidance or influence from another, we want to make sure that they are living the kind of life and being the kind of person that we aspire to be. You can learn from and be inspired by others, but you must stay true to yourself. Do not allow anyone else's voice to become more important to you than the divine voice within your own heart. Marilyn, you can't see the comments right now because they're making them on my personal wall. If you want to head over there, you can find them. So this is the 3rd. Oh, this is just really awesome.
Okay.
This is like you today.
Well, today has been interesting, that's for sure.
It's the Divine Badass.
Oh, no.
I think you've been the Divine Badass today. I think you've been really amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You may feel under pressure to conform, maybe to someone else's opinions or even to your own previous plans or ideas. Don't give your power to make choices away to another, whether that is the choice of what to believe or how to behave. Don't give away your power to the past if it will take away from what you know is true now. Even if it seems to be more difficult in the short term, trust that living what you know is true and right for you is the only way that you can gain the happiness and fulfillment that you want and deserve. And, I think you've been on a tear of amazing growth. So I am just so excited for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I wish you could read that to my husband so he can see that this is what makes me happy. Yeah, I like showing houses and all that, but this is my passion.
And you know what? I think it shows, and I think it will come up as like truly amazing. So this is the 7th card. This is the Warrior Goddess.
Oh, that's definitely Meg. I know that.
And Marilyn, yeah.
Marilyn.
Yep. You can see it. You're like, yep. Just counting the cards. It is not a time to play it safe, nor is it time to allow another to take the lead in your life. You need to believe in yourself and trust that the instincts guiding you are correct. If you need to take action, do it. Speak up, say yes, say no, trust your inner truth completely. Be bold. The universe will answer your boldest actions with affirmation, and you'll move through the consequences of your actions with grace and courage, ending up exactly where you were meant to be.
Hey, Meg, I want to challenge you. You put that card back up, Haley. You see that headdress that she's made? I think you could make something totally awesome like that too. Knowing your creativity and genius level.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good close-up. Well, Haley, I'm going to break the silence here and ask you, what is your favorite card? And you pull it.
I'm going to have to shuffle. I can set an intention and see what comes up. This is what comes up for me.
A shaman. Ooh.
Which is interesting because I just began my shaman practitioner training. So in your heart, you have been asking for something different, something more, and the universe is answering your prayers. You do not need to be afraid of the changes happening or that are going to happen for you. They are part of that answer from the universe. You might feel uncertain because you cannot see how it is going to all work out. But know that the universe is caring for you and will provide a way to move through the transition with grace. You are not crazy to willingly enter this experience. There is nothing you need to avoid and much that you will gain.
Oh my gosh, Haley. And I know a little inside note that you're working on navigating through your daughter's February new transition.
Yeah, she is moving to a permanent group home, which will be a permanent, hopefully, living situation for her in a TBI home here about 25 minutes from where we live. So we're really, really looking forward to that. That's a huge transition. I also have some pretty big upgrades happening in my business right now, which are just, I'm really excited about. I mean, I can't wait to unveil them and roll them out as they become available. We've got a ton of work going on in the background to facilitate and move my vision forward for Women's Entrepreneur Network and Fiercely Marketing. And I'm just really, really stoked about it.
Does it have something to do with YouTube, maybe?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah. And that is well underway, and we are launched. We're moving it. We have some additional membership levels and benefits coming into Women's Entrepreneur Network that we're developing. We have a new website that's going to allow us to support our small businesses and our crafters.
Oh, wow.
We have a new and improved vendor listing, new and improved events listings, all kinds of stuff coming. I mean, it is mind-boggling to see all the pieces and parts that are coming in and flowing in to really make this happen. Just so many really cool things to support small business owners. And I mean, this year is to me about finding partnerships. Like the event that we're doing on February 2nd, getting it done in 2021. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll post the details. It's just, honestly, it's about helping more people. That's part of the evolution and the change is how do we help more small business owners and make a massive impact.
Well, you know what? The timing could not be perfect, as you know, because as we've been talking about COVID all night, the impact of COVID with small brick and mortar businesses
has been devastating.
Positions you very well to help those who are business orientated anyway. They've already been an entrepreneur and now they're having to pivot and go virtually. And I think what you're trying to do to help that community is totally awesome.
Thank you. And Meg says, nothing like the deck calling me out. I have been letting someone else drive the bus the last couple of days. It's funny how the deck will tend to do that for you.
Mm-hmm. True enough.
It's interesting how those synchronicities happen. But yeah, there's lots of really, really cool things coming. I am really, really excited about them.
I think everybody else is too. We can't wait.
I'm like a little girl at Christmas. I can't wait. So yeah, thank you so much, Beth, for joining me here tonight. This has been a ton of fun. Thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And y'all check out Beth at madeyousmileback.com. If you haven't checked out her website, make sure you do. Her website is madeyousmileback.com. It's an absolutely amazing website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.